What's up, everybody? We're coming back for another episode of the Lockup Podcast. End of the season finale special, but that doesn't mean we're done because we're going to be bringing more content out
Oh yeah,
through the off season. We got winter breaks. We're going to race each other again. This time, I hopefully
we
won't.
are.
Hopefully, my GoPro, I'll have the right attachment so I can actually record it, and it'll be a way cooler track. So it's going down.
No, that'll be sick. But no, I mean, I just to cap off, what a season! A lot of ups, a lot of downs.
More
Abu Dhabi. I
downs,
mean,
more
never.
downs than
Yeah, more
ups.
downs than ups. Abu Dhabi never disappoints. I mean, like Chris said, we have a long winter ahead. We have a long, winter testing ahead. We have some new faces joining the grid.
A
Some old
lot of
faces,
new faces.
leaving. We have a rumored Schumacher to Mercedes reserve. We have a rumored. I'm gonna still say rumor. I'm gonna still say rumor. Danny Rick to Red Bull reserve because it's
Mm-hmm.
not pen to paper yet. We have the first American in like
I
what
mean,
15 years,
Helmet Marko damn near spilled the beans about Daniel
dude.
Ricciardo.
I mean, just goes on Sky Sports Germany and just like, yeah, Danny Rick's back with us. Like, I mean, he just literally just unprompted, which I mean, shocker for Helmet Marko to say something unprompted. But we've learned that the whole season. But I mean, I can't picture a better way of a year one of new regulations on a vehicle and a car that they're driving to go. I mean, some teams got it right, some teams got it wrong. I mean,
McLaren.
there's a lot, dude. I don't. They literally cashed out their older Australian to get a younger, more like faster Australian.
Why does it always come back to us shitting on McLaren though?
It and they're my ride or die. They're my favorite team. It hurts me to say this every time, but brother, this year it it really changed my scope on how to view this team. Like I don't know what went wrong through the season. I don't know what happened. I don't know why Ricardo was turned into a scapegoat. I don't know like
Mm,
yes, Lando was getting results. I get that. Danny Rick was a little bit off the pace regardless. Even if he was doing good, even if he was doing bad, he was off Lando's pace.
yeah,
But they did not help him at all. They did not help him this
they
year
didn't make it
at all.
easy, definitely. And we noticed that their strat like all year their strategies with Daniel Ricciardo were like they had Ferrari.
Questionable.
They had questionable is putting it lightly. They had Ferrari strategists for Daniel Ricciardo, and then they had like Red Bull, Mercedes guys running Lando. So it was
Dude,
weird.
like it almost pissed me off to the point to where I don't think for a while there, I don't think for a single weekend they had the same strategy. They were running either opposing opposite strategies of hey, Lando's going to start on the soft, you're going to start on the medium, or and I understand. Trust me, I understand. Lando starting in the top 10 and Danny Rick starting, P15, P14, P13. I get
Yeah,
that they warrant different strategies. I get that. But when they were close, like there's a couple times where Ricardo started over Lando and they're on completely opposite tires.
yeah,
And one's pushing their first set, the longest stint that they can, and one's doing a three stop, or one's doing this, or one's doing two sets of softs, or one's doing like it just it
yeah.
sometimes this year it didn't make any sense to me.
That's true. But I think before we start jumping into like the recap stuff, we should just kind of close out the season with the final race, which was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was the season finale. It went into it, tied in points again, except for this time it was for second place battle.
it's for
Uh,
first loser.
Latifi didn't ruin or make the weekend, whatever your perspective is. So that was
It's
something.
true. That's true. He did have a little Spinalla with Schumacher, but hey, they're behind the grid. They had their little touch up, and which it was funny because like Schumacher and everyone else, even Hulkenberg came on and slammed Latifi a little bit because like on paper that little spin was Schumacher's fault all the way. But Hulkenberg and Schumacher both said they're like, no, I was reacting to Latifi. they were they were like Latifi takes weird lines. He goes out too far and then tries to cut in, and he just set his brakes. I was like, bro, you just nudged him in the back. It's not that deep.
Yeah. I mean, Latifi's gonna Latifi, dude. He's off the race pace. He's
I,
off the race line. He's off the grid. We'll
not
just
anymore, bro.
grand slam
Latifi's
that
out, and
one.
they got themselves an American. Woo!
Yeah, brother, Logan Sargent.
Look, dude,
What better
what
way
a
to have
name!
it? Yeah. What better name to have for an American? What better kind of American? We got a red-blooded Trump-loving American on the grid.
Holy hell! I mean, God, nothing to spice up the grid like one of those. It's literally like Nikita Mazepin joining, but kind of from America. It's
Damn,
like,
I didn't even think about that. Wait, so what's the over under that Logan Sargent gets mad at Lewis protesting with the knee?
I don't know. He's
It's
probably
like,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
he's probably,
I'm just making shit up at this point.
God.
But but no, battle for second place was the story of the weekend, and it didn't disappoint. That was a freaking nail biter.
No, it didn't. It was a nail biter, and honestly, I thought Checo had it in the bag for most of the race,
Well, you were
and
getting
then,
my text messages because I watched it late. I was watching the rerun
dude,
of it.
I woke up at lap 8 and in a panic. I was like, no, I gotta watch Abu Dhabi live, and then I
Abu
realized I'm
Dhabi.
like, nah, it's 5 something in the morning for Chris. He's definitely sleeping in,
Oh, I didn't go to bed till
and
3:30.
oh my god, bro, is that why you texted me saying should I stay up for the race?
Yeah,
You said you're like,
I mean, I was like,
at that point, bro, I had trouble struggling. Like, bro, I was struggling trying to stay up for Australia in the beginning of the year.
yeah.
Dude, no, but I was getting Chris's live text messages from his rewatch, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh man, he doesn't know. I was like, he doesn't know what's about to like happen. The
I
foreshadowing about to
I
what
can't
happened.
believe when I got on ESPN app to do it, I was clicking really quickly because sometimes like to get to the on demand section, like you have to go past like the highlights and like the after race shit, and I was like,
Yeah.
don't read anything, keep going, and I missed all the
Oh
stuff,
no.
so
Yeah.
I didn't spoil it, so I was impressed about that.
That was good. That was good. No, I mean, I thought Checo had it in the bag. It was battle for P2. I thought he had it in the bag. Red Bull made a questionable late pit stop that I mean, I don't know. I just didn't think it was needed. I not only did I not think it was needed, I think even if they made the pit stop, he didn't get any faster from it. And with their pit stops, I mean, in F1, you're pitting to either beat someone on the undercut or overcut, or hey, something that the other teams don't know, and this is actually the faster way to do it.
Hmm.
Sometimes a three stop might beat a two stop because they're going on fuel management and tire management, and you're just all out pushing because you're going through different sets of soft tires. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was questionable. Do I think it was wrong? No, but
Hey,
I
I mean,
mean, it cost him P2.
the only two people, or there was only three people that did a one stop this weekend, and that was
Yeah,
Max, right? Oh, Max only
yeah,
had one stop. Yeah, and then
I think so.
Leclerc, and then Vettel, and it worked out. I mean, for Max, it didn't matter. He was just
Yeah, I mean, he
coasting the
was
whole
in
race.
clean air the whole time.
Yeah, and then Leclerc was close, and Vettel it definitely didn't work out too well. So it was, I think the two stop was the better strategy. I was honestly surprised because, uh, I mean, I liked the call that Ferrari made. They said just do the opposite of whatever Checo does. If he comes in,
Yeah,
you stay out. If he stays out, you go in. And then he just stayed out, and they were like, "All right, we're doing this one stop shit. Could you
yeah,
think you can make it work?"
This weekend is when Ferrari like flip flopping their strategy from mimicking Red Bull. That this was a weekend that it actually worked out.
They
Some
raced their
weekends
own
they went with that.
race.
I know, dude, and lo and behold, they actually did something cool.
Yeah,
Like
they
it,
it
it,
was
it makes no sense.
it was scary. It was close. I think maybe if Lewis didn't hold off Checo for that one lap, it might not have worked. But
I mean, it is true. I mean, shout out to oh man, I do feel bad for Lewis. Like you know, yes, he went this year without winning a race, and it's the first time in a long time, and ever. It's the first time ever that he's ever gone a whole season
I
without
got
winning a single race.
I got three stats for that after this. But
Oh,
go
okay.
ahead, go ahead.
We'll get to that, but unfortunately, he did hit a DNF, and that marked the end of the year of officially granting of all right, Lewis Hamilton didn't win a race this year, and I thought after last week's performance that hey, it was in the cards of Lewis could definitely win if everything lined up how it was supposed to. Lewis could have definitely had this race in the bag, but I mean, Max just proved too strong.
So I got okay. I actually have four stats and a fifth. I told you so because
Hit it.
you said Mercedes was better than the Ferrari now, and I told you so. They're not. Ferrari was a better car. They
Fair.
just had two underwhelming performances because it was low altitude, I think, or high altitude. I guess they have issues with the with air in their cars at the high
Yeah.
altitude tracks with the engine. I don't know. They got to figure that one out in the off season. But four stats for you. One, uh, this was the only Mercedes DNF of the season for a
This
mechanical
was.
failure.
You're correct.
Uh,
That's a big. That is as as underwhelming as that sounds. That is a huge deal in
yeah,
F1 world,
yeah,
especially on year one with a new car.
yeah. That's it's actually really impressive how well that car was, how durable it was this year.
It's
And
insanely impressive because all their issues at the beginning were just the way the aerodynamics of the car, or the chassis and suspension of the car. Not once was it durability or reliability.
true, they had it nailed. Okay, so there's that, and then here's the interesting ones. We got this was the first year in the last 16 years that Lewis Hamilton and Vettel were not battling for one or two.
That's a stat right there.
That's
Damn.
crazy.
Damn.
In the driver's stand, and then this was the first year and the first time in 15 years that Lewis Hamilton didn't get a pole position, and the first time in 15 years that Lewis Hamilton didn't win a race.
Well, I mean, let's just highlight how bad Lewis Hamilton did this year. No, I'm just kidding.
Shut
I'm
up.
just No, I'm
uh,
just kidding. That's the goat. That's the undisputed goat. I mean, the fact I'm looking at it right now. The fact that he managed what 10, 9, 8, 7. The fact that he managed P6 and managed P6 while being almost 100 points over P7 in that Mercedes this year on how,
hmm
hey, they did predict towards the end of the season maybe they could start winning races. But I'm willing to bet that Mercedes is back and is going to start next year with a bang, and they definitely could be. I think it's a solid Red Bull number one right now, and Ferrari and Mercedes could flip a coin of who's going to be number two,
Yeah, so I guess if we're
in
going
my
for
opinion.
if I feel like for a second there I was hoping that there was going to be a little bit more drama in Red Bull, but they've shut
Yeah,
down Checo's feelings once again and made him just cower out
this
of the
is
way.
unfair, but okay.
Yeah, they made him cower out of the way of Max, and I guess they squashed the beef. But I think it's going to be a three-way fight next year for first place because you have to consider one, the Red Bull team they developed the shit out of the car all year,
Yeah,
like
that's yeah.
so. I mean, I guess who knows? Does stopping the development of the car this year to work on next year? How much does that actually help you? You know, because
I mean, the only way is to see because we saw Ferrari freaking stop development this year, 7 races in.
I don't know if I believe that because they looked like they were doing a lot of upgrades until really I think the nail in the coffin was the technical directive that came down.
I mean, yeah, yeah, that was a big deal with them.
That's when you saw the performance significantly go like fall off from Red
I
Bull.
will agree with you. I really agree with you on that one.
But that being said, Red Bull they put a lot of eggs in the basket this year and it worked out for them obviously and they did the same last year. So combo that with the penalty that they're getting for the minor
Yeah,
breach
they
of the
have like
cost cap.
what? They have a reduction of time in their wind tunnel and reduction
Yeah,
of time in development.
yeah. So I don't know. I think it could be they could be a little bit behind next year. But
Oh no, I agree.
I thought they would be behind this year and they weren't, dude. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
at the beginning of the year, we could have easily said back and forth of yeah, they're definitely going to be behind. Max either wins or DNFs. There is no middle ground. It was
Yeah.
win, DNF. It was very best outcome, very worst outcome, and that boat you can only sail for so long before it starts fucking sinking. But they passed that up really quickly, and what was it I saw? Which ESPN's kind of a hoe for this one. They posted a post saying, uh, the quote of Ferrari saying, "We believe we could totally win the next 10 races." And it's a graphic of the last 10 races and it's like Max, 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 George, Max, Max. It's like I'm like, dude, that hurts. That
That's
hurts,
messed
bro.
up, honestly. All right, they shouldn't have done that.
Bro, I
But
mean,
no,
ESPN can't be biased.
it is how it is. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to see a three-way battle though between Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull, and McLaren's got to be fighting for best of the rest right now.
They really have to solidify as they're gonna come in P4, and whoever's fighting for P2, P2 will be close, and P3 will just be the default of whoever loses the P2 battle. But McLaren really needs to focus on securing P4, if not fighting to be in the mix for P3 next year. They really have to keep
Yeah,
Piastri and to keep Norris happy because I guarantee you Norris is physically and mentally exhausted from being on McLaren right now. He gets a winning car last year, goes into a developmental year again, and smack dab in the middle of his contract. He
yeah,
did sign an extension in the middle of this year, which is cool, but they have to follow up on that extension and give him a fucking car that can win a race.
that's true.
Because I know last year's car can win races.
Yeah, yeah. That they had a solid car last year, but here's an underdog story. Fernando Alonso is saying that the Aston Martin's going to be up there next year.
I'll believe that when I see it.
I'm not buying it one bit.
I'm not buying that at all.
That hunk of junk. That hunk of junk.
dude, dude.
Hey, I will say, you saw at the end of the year they kind of brought it back because they started. Where they finished in the constructors? You have that
Okay,
one.
in the constructors, 10, 9, 8. They finished P7. They finished P7, and
We thought they were one of the
hey,
shittiest cars.
wait a second,
What?
wait a second.
What?
Actually, both Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin finished P6, P7. And I
Yeah,
think Aston Martin finished seventh just because of the overall placings.
I think so. Yeah,
Because
they're equal on
they're tied
points.
at 55. Yeah.
So, like I said, we thought they were one of the worst cars this year, and they
I
finished
mean,
that far ahead.
they looked like one of the worst cars early
So,
this year. And speaking of that, that's a real blow to AlphaTauri finishing P9.
yikes. Yeah.
It's not good.
At least Haas
Not good.
held. Okay. Uh, I'm ready to talk about this Haas shit. I don't know if you are.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Speaking of standings, and Haas is sitting at what P8 right now with let's see 37 points, and P9 is only 2 points behind them at 35. And shout out Williams, maybe you'll get there. You're at 8 points, so that's cool. But shout out Logan Sargent. Hopefully he turns that around. Uh, Haas being at P8, if they do P8 or worse next year, it'll prove everything right about how unexciting this lineup is.
So I want to say um just a little brief history about Haas, I guess, and they've always kind of opted for a two veteran driver team. Like
They have.
when they got in Mick and Nikita Mazepin, that was the
Hmm.
first time they ever got rookie drivers, and let alone they
It's
went
true.
double rookies.
They
Uh,
went double rookies straight out of F2. Haas had little to no experience at all with the two rookies. They have no idea what to tell them for development. They have no idea what to tell them after testing. They do Pirelli tests, and I mean they can only give them so much feedback of what they feel of it. But getting feedback from a veteran driver and then getting feedback from a rookie driver, it, it's two very different things. What's the movie Rush about Nicky Lauda and James Hunt? He's like, God bless me with the ability to drive and have a good ass to understands what's happening with the car. It's one of those things. So I
hey,
understand why they go the veteran route,
that Ask Dino is a real thing. All right.
dude. It is. It's true. You're totally right because I mean they played it safe with Grosjean, with Magnussen. They had good pace, and we're not going to talk about the 2018 Rich Energy car, but
Ugh.
or actually no, it was the 2019 Rich Energy car.
Yeah.
But I just if you can defend Nico Hulkenberg and Magnussen, it's whatever. But like, I really don't think
So
this is an exciting lineup.
no, I agree. I don't think it's an exciting lineup. I know why they wanted to do it, which is they want someone that can consistently or reliably get them points and blah blah blah, this and that. But they lucked out by getting the money that they wanted from Mazepin, and then they were able to get him off the grid and bring in a veteran driver that could give them the feedback to develop the car and be consistent, you know. But you still have this really talented rookie on your hands. And honestly, I think if you wanted to do the strategy of getting a rookie, like you have to follow through with it. You can't just give up after 2 years.
No, you can't.
Like they say, it takes a couple years for a rookie to develop, really. And like you hurt yourself by going for a rookie and not following through on it. Like it's one
No,
thing,
I agree with you. I
yeah.
totally agree with you.
Like if they went just veterans all the way, like and that was their strategy, then that's fine. But you sacrificed a little bit this year, and obviously Mick had some big crashes and stuff, but he also showed his talent. And I was a big doubter of Mick Schumacher at the start of the season. I've turned around on him, and I'm a supporter now.
I I was a big. I wasn't a doubter, but I was. Hey, you gotta let him settle in. You gotta let him settle in. We both had. I think we both had the opinion of okay. You put him in. Him and Yuki had really hard rookie seasons to come into F1.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna be straight up. They
Yeah.
had to learn a brand new F1 car last year, and then not only last year as a rookie, they're basically going into year two as a rookie again because it's a whole new regulation change with a brand new vehicle, and
Yep.
everybody now has to learn it. So
Yep.
it's two back-to-back years of feeling like you're a rookie
I
on the
mean,
grid.
you saw what it did to a veteran in Daniel Ricciardo.
Dude, it destroyed him. It
Yeah.
literally destroyed him. This year alone took away his McLaren seat. Nothing he did. If anything, last year he was riding into this year with his stock like fully high.
Yeah, back up
And
again. Yeah.
yeah, so like it we saw it make drivers, we saw it absolutely hinder drivers. We saw some of okay, it was a slow start, then they picked it up at the end.
Yeah.
I think Joe Guan Yu, uh, if he had a reliable car, he would have had a great rookie season.
Dude, he was the rookie of the year. I mean, he was the only rookie, but I think if there were
Eh,
other ones,
dude,
like you can call Mick and uh, Yuki rookies as well as So I'd say he still had the best out of all three. And here's another thing: Mick was better than Yuki, and the AlphaTauri's given Yuki another
yeah.
shot.
That's what I'm saying. Not only are they giving Yuki another shot, but they let go Pierre Gasly to
Yeah,
get Nick DeFries, which
yeah,
is Nick DeFries is fine, perfect pickup. I totally agree with that. But I mean, for you to get rid of Pierre Gasly that easy and then be like, no, Yuki's totally good. We got this. It's like I don't hate the move, but it just shows to the fact of like, okay, some teams the veteran lineup work. Some teams two hotshot rookies, seem to be the deal, or it it either works out pretty good or it ends in catastrophe. And
yeah,
I'm only wondering how Piastri is going to handle the McLaren next year.
yeah. I mean, still with the Mick situation, like I'm saying, they should have gave him another shot. Like I have some stats. I was doing a little research on it because I wanted to see like is Hulkenberg really going to be that big? Oh, he's going to score us points all the time consistently. And uh, from what I did some research on, I think he will consistently score them points, but it's not like he's pulling in big numbers. Like over his career, he had 181 F1 races and 564 points total. So he's averaging about 3 points per race. Okay, so
It's not terrible. It's not
it
terrible.
it's good though for Haas, right? Or like a
Yeah.
a low end team to
And points in the standings, I mean, that's sponsorship dollars. So I get it.
exactly, yeah. And so that's his career, but you have to also consider the dude's 35 years old. He hasn't raced in a car proper like for 3 years now. He's been off the grid. Uh, he
And even when this year when he filled in for Seb on the first couple races on Aston Martin, I mean, the engineers were trying to get feedback. He goes, "Dude, I don't know, just let me race. I'm just filling in." Like he's like he literally goes, I don't know, let me drive. That word for word what happened.
Yeah.
Like it's just I'm not. I know Nico can do it. I'm not. Nobody's saying he's not capable of driving the car, but with the resume he already had, and he drove a decent Renault car. That Renault wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
He drove that car fairly well,
Mhm.
but it just didn't amount to anything. I mean, even Danny Rick managed 2 podiums in that Renault car.
Yeah, so his career he's had two fastest laps, one pole position, no podiums. He now holds the record that Carlos had of the most wins without it, or like races entered without a podium, which is
Yeah, and
wild.
Carlos now scores podiums and has a race win under his belt.
Yeah.
So it's like that he got that monkey off his back. Now
And then
Nico,
the other thing I saw was he had three DNFs in his like rookie seasons, and that's
mm,
equal to Mick Schumacher. He had three DNFs. Uh, Mick, if you consider both his years, he's only scoring like not even half a point a race. But if you take into account that the first year the car was
the first
shit,
year the car was just bad. Like I don't think that car was drivable in any sense of the word.
if you write off the first year and you only look at this year, Mick's he was averaging like 1.7 points per race or something.
Yeah, which,
So
isn't the
that's,
greatest.
I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's also not that far off of Nico Hulkenberg.
It's not. It's less than half, and which I know we're talking. I know we're talking about 1 to 3 right now,
Yeah.
but like it's still, like I said, it's big in F1 world. I mean, finishing P9, P8 to P7 or P6,
Could
it
be.
could be
Yeah.
millions of sponsorship dollars. Like I know when McLaren in 2020 finished P3 and then they dropped down to P4, but then secured the sponsorship of, oh, their graph is still trending up. That helped them a lot, and this year
Mhm.
didn't help them at all.
Yeah.
This year Haas will definitely get help now that what they're P8, they're P8, but on the tails of, hey, if shit went their way this weekend here, if shit went their way, I could see them P6 pushing for a P5.
Yeah, they could have been in Aston Martin position, honestly.
They could have been. They could have been easily, but
Yeah.
it just goes to show you what we've been arguing the whole year for. How long or how short do you keep this leash on Mick? Like when do you cut it off? Was it at the end of this year? Was it going to be the end of next year? Was it going to
I
be the middle of this year? What,
I
like
think personally they should have done one more year. They should have done 3 years
I
with him
agree.
because this year he improved from his first season even. Like he went from P19 to P16 like in the finishing in the driver standings, I believe. That's
Yeah,
where he was. And then he had a P6 finish this season. Like that's his best finish ever, and like that's pretty decently up there, you know?
that's pretty good. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
His
Like
average
it's pretty
qualifying
freaking
was
good.
P13.
It's not bad for the car that they have. It is
Yeah.
not bad. It's not great, but it's for the car. Now, obviously, I'm just being an armchair analyst right now,
Yeah.
but the car,
That's what we
some
are.
tracks they got the setup wrong. Maybe he could have been faster here. Maybe if he didn't crash in Miami, he would have had a better race. Maybe like it's just.
The
Although I will say this, I think Mick each year is leading the whole grid and how expensive he is to drive for a team because I
yeah.
think he did 5 million in damage this year.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing like for well, I don't know how much damage he did at the end of the season, but I guess it doesn't matter in the last race with the Latifi hit, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was like 4.2 million euros.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's like he did fine. Does that stat suck? Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of a bad stat to hold. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe the leash should have been longer. Maybe he deserves one more year. I think he deserves 2 years of consistency of without a
Mhm.
change of environment. I would have given him this year and next year in this car instead of, hey bro, learn how to drive an F1 car. All right, cool. You learned how to get comfortable with that car. We're going to a brand new car. It's like I would
Yeah.
at least given here get I would have least given him the 2 years of consistency. But
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I understand where Haas is. They need the money. They need money. They need results to secure more money. They have funding now. They're probably in the most comfortable position they've been in a while now.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I mean, I
Hey,
they definitely waited to the last second.
we'll see how it goes, honestly. I'm not expecting much from them next year, to be honest with you.
I'm not. I've told you this before. When the Nico Hulkenberg's talks started in the summer break, I was absolutely not amused with that. I did not want to see that.
Yeah, I think if anything, they're just gonna stagnate where they are, or like maybe even regress. Honestly.
It's just I just don't know what they plan to accomplish there, at least in progression terms. Now, staying consistent where they are, I can see that. But at least in progression of moving up the grid, I really don't see what that lineup's going to do differently. I don't. I just simply don't. I think Kevin Magnussen and Nico have basically the same pace. Magnussen looks good. He has little spurts of brilliance, and
Mhm.
then it's just kind of mediocre after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's had some spectacular drives this season, though. Maybe the best of his career, honestly.
I mean, he had the best worst weekend of his life last weekend. He got pole position and then DNF'd Sunday.
Yeah.
Like
And dude,
it makes no sense.
the way he started out the season was spectacular too.
I will say that. I mean, see, the first race of the season, we were like, Haas, P2, what?
Dude, we were
Haas,
so
Haas.
stoked on Haas.
Dude,
Yeah,
I,
that was
I
crazy.
was like, USA, USA. Yeah, I was stoked. Dude, imagine Logan Sargent racing for Haas. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I will say, I wish they made the announcement on Mick earlier so he could have potentially got that Williams seat.
I mean, yeah, unfortunately,
They
that's
did
just
him
how the
pretty
cookie
dirty.
crumbles.
They did him
Yeah,
dirty.
they did him pretty dirty. Which I was reading some interviews on Hulkenberg and Magnussen. Hulkenberg didn't think the seat was his after summer break because that's when Schumacher started really getting into his little villain arc of he's driving, he's
Yeah, he
doing pretty
was.
good. And then it went downhill, and Hulkenberg was like, "Yeah, the talks started intensifying as the season later went on, and we finally made a decision just 2 weeks ago, and this article came out a week ago." So I was like, "Oh damn, this was like they were giving Mick any chance, like because it sounds like they wanted him, but they finally rode the back burner all the
Uh,
way, got put on the hot seat.
I don't
Oh
know,
yeah,
man.
oh you disagree? Okay,
They kept moving the goalpost, in my opinion, for what Mick had to do to stay in that spot.
that's fair.
They're like, we need
That's
him to
fair.
score
They
points.
achieve.
He scores points. We need him to score more points. Scores more points. I don't know what they wanted from him, dude. Like,
DNFs. Oh, he doesn't do anything. Oh, blah, blah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they wanted from him, but we'll see what happens. I'm hoping he gets that Mercedes reserve driver seat, and I think we might see him in a Mercedes in the future.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, just to rattle off the end of this season and the end of Abu Dhabi, we had Red Bull final clock in at 759 points for the
Phew.
championship, wrapping up constructors and drivers, which is shout out Red Bull. Ferrari at 554, Mercedes at 515. They really gave it their all to come for P2.
They did.
Props to Ferrari for getting back to P2 and most improved team for sure. Alpine beating out McLaren for P4, McLaren P5, Alfa Romeo P6, tied with Aston Martin at sixth and seventh.
Hmm.
Haas at eighth, AlphaTauri at nine, which they only came in 2 points behind Haas. So that was, battle for,
That was
I
close.
guess, yeah. They represent the guy on the third place podium, and he's freaking out. He's like, yes,
Yeah,
yes. That's what they were doing. Williams at 8 points coming in dead last. Can't that's tough.
that's
Leclerc
tough.
securing P2 by 3 points. Russell, I feel like this is not talked about, and I'm going to shine a light on this. In Russell's first year in equal machinery as Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes, Mr. Don't roll your eyes. Mr. Consistency out outplays Lewis Hamilton.
I'm gonna put money
I'm
on.
here
I'm gonna
for it.
make you a water bet on this one that next year Lewis Hamilton finishes above George Russell.
I'll take that bet. Mark
All
my
right.
words right now.
We'll
I got
we'll
20 on it.
we'll make it official at the start of next season, but I'm thinking I'll take that bet any day of the week.
Oh, dude, I'm taking that. But now, I will say this. Surprising P10. Botas held it down. He got top
Botas,
10. He got top 10 at Alfa Romeo, and I'm
go
not going to lie, I
go
actually
toss.
think that's pretty Gotas, the Finn. I actually think that is pretty impressive considering the car they had over there at Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, shitbox.
Dude, it was a candy cane shitbox. That's all it was. It looked pretty. It drove like shit.
It was a beautiful
That's
car.
it.
I like the
It
classic livery too that they put on it.
Oh, I thought it was sick.
Yeah.
But I do want to wrap up this year. Obviously, it's been a crazy season. Obviously, Abu Dhabi never disappoints. We got some sick donuts from Seb. We got some donut. We got some donuts from I believe it was Max Verstappen on the grid. Mick did some donuts. Then his engineer said, "We can't afford the tires. Please stop doing donuts." And
You're not
you,
using the
you,
car again. It's done. The
that's what I'm
season's over.
saying.
No one
He
gives a
goes,
shit.
"Hey Mick, we can't do donuts. We just can't." And Mick's like, "Oh well, love you too, I guess." And I was like,
Bro,
dude, what an awkward interchange on the radio.
that's what I'm saying, dude. The Haas team were his biggest haters, man.
Hey, dude, I don't
His
understand.
own
I
team,
don't
they did him
understand.
worse than Ferrari did Leclerc.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. At least Leclerc knows he's a champion at heart, though.
Hey, I will say, end of the year, Ferrari's looking good for next year. All right, I'm back on the hype
Uh,
train. I went through a rough patch. I was drinking
you
heavily
did.
mid-season,
You d-
but but they're looking promising now. Back at the end, I think it was after the pressure was off their shoulders, they started to like think clearly. So hopefully they can keep that rolling for next year.
yeah, no, absolutely. But I guess I want to sign off this by we've got some new faces on the grid next year. I just want to rattle off the teams, see what
Hit
we're
me with
working
them.
with.
Hit me
Let's
with them.
see. So Red Bull, obviously no change. Although we got a sneaky Ricardo in there, maybe in the mix for a reunion in 2024 with Verstappen.
Hmm.
No, I'm just kidding. We have Checo and
Hey,
Verstappen
no,
returning for
no, no.
2023. I know.
We don't know 24. And you were telling me this. Verstappen and Danny Rick like the same kind of setup. And
Yeah,
I
they
think I've
do.
seen
A heavy front end car.
Danny Rick's the only teammate that Max ever had that was really able to challenge him.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Just putting that out there.
That's I'm just putting that out there. No diss to Checo. No diss to Checo. But I would love a reunion of them in 2024. Anyways, we have Perez and Verstappen coming back for Red Bull. No surprise there.
Yep,
We
yep.
have Leclerc and Sainz. No surprise there at Ferrari. Hamilton Russell. No surprise there at
Mhm.
Mercedes.
Mhm.
McLaren. Oscar Piastri. Out goes the old Australian. In comes the new Australian. Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris.
If he
Not
doesn't do
gonna
a
lie,
shoey, he's not a real Australian. That's what
I
I'm saying.
agree. I agree. Not gonna lie, I do like the lineup. The car just needs to live up to the driver's expectations.
Hate how it came about though.
I absolutely hate that a hero had to sacrifice himself for for Oscar Piastri to come in on this team.
A hero had to sacrifice himself for Logan Sargent also, and that's Go
That's
TV.
true. That's true. Goat TV had to fall on his sword.
Salute
Salute
to
to
you.
you, Goat TV. But we have Botas and Zhou Guan Yu. I'm stoked to see Zhou Guan Yu re-sign and
Me
come back
too.
for Alfa Romeo.
That's my
Think
guy
that was a
next year.
great choice. We have a full French team and French drivers.
Oh,
We
oui,
have the
oui.
French Alpine team with Gasly and Ocon.
Midcon.
So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that plays out. They honestly, I think Alpine might be trending to the most mid team ever next year.
I'm gonna say I think Pierre Gasly is gonna take ownership of the team. He's gonna be the number one driver, and he's gonna be pretty solid. I think he's got
I agree.
Now he's in a new environment. The car is pretty solid. I think he's gonna really push himself. I think this year he was just coasting, and the car was shit.
I agree. I agree. Moving on to AlphaTauri, we have Yuki Tsunoda returning for AlphaTauri for a third
Yuki.
year, and we have Nick DeFries, which after the performance he made this year, after the team hopping he did this year to test it out, it seemed like he was on a new team every weekend testing out cars.
He
He
was.
he he was bound for an F1 seat. So him starting in AlphaTauri, pretty good for a stock. So that's a great team.
Hmm.
Haas, we have Hulkenberg and Magnussen. We just went on a long bit of I just don't like this team.
Yeah.
Moving on, Stroll and Alonso. Alonso ain't gonna put up with Daddy, and he ain't gonna put up with Stroll. So Alonso's probably gonna be head honcho over there, and I mean, Alonso has the dream contract. He has a 3 year guaranteed, guaranteed on his part, but he has an opt out of each year of the car is shit. I'm out. Like it's the dream. His future is set in stone. He can do whatever he wants. Moving to
Gotta love
Williams,
Alonso.
dude. Alonso is the goat for what he did this season. He is the goat. He like the best.
He's got a
Anyways,
better deal than Lewis Hamilton. I don't know how he pulled that one
I
off.
know, I know. He has the best deal you could think of on the F1 grid.
Yeah,
Uh, Now moving to Williams, which I think it's pretty freaking cool. We have
I
Logan
like it.
Sargent making his debut, first American in the last I think 15 years or closer to 2 decades,
Since no,
and
it's
then we have Albon coming
is it 15 years or was it since 2015?
back. Okay, maybe since 2015. Maybe I
One of
just got
those
the
two.
15. Yeah, one of
Like we
those two.
said, armchair analyst. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, but Williams seems exciting. As long as they can keep the top speed and then focus on another facet of their car without sacrificing the top speed, I think they actually could do something of maybe a P8, maybe a P7 if they fought. But I mean, next year's grid looks it's I'm stoked on almost every team besides Haas and maybe Alpine.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll tell you, I'm not rocking with Haas next year. I'll be honest. I'm off
Nope,
that hype train. Uh,
I'm off it completely.
yeah, I'm honestly, I think I'm going for Alfa Romeo for my like midfield team.
Yeah,
That's my team, and then obviously I'm sticking with Ferrari for my main team,
yeah, of course.
my main squeeze. And then I'm interested in Williams too.
As long as they improve in other areas of the car, I can see without sacrificing their top speed, I can see them actually like okay, they're getting into the 20s now, 30 points, the 40 points. I can see them doing that.
I think
Now,
in
is that guaranteed? No, but
if they stay on the same track they're on, I think in 2 or 3 years they'll be a solid midfield team, like
I
upper
agree.
midfield.
They have a winning attitude over there. That Yost guy, he don't play.
I like
He's got
him.
a winning. I really like him. He's putting a good culture in Williams right now.
And getting Albin, that was a big move, and then getting Logan Sargent, I'm excited to see what that does.
I agree,
That might just
but
be a PR stunt because maybe there was a better driver you could find, but
I mean maybe
I like it
I
nonetheless.
like it, but I mean I'm stoked for 2023, and this is a wrap on 2022. We are going to be back with some winter testing updates.
Yeah, they're already
I
at
got a
it.
few content. Yeah, I've got a few. Dude, they're already at it.
Yeah.
I saw Alonso rocket a D badged freaking Aston Martin this morning.
Dude, did you see that meme? It was like Alonso 1 millisecond after the the race,
Yeah,
and it's him in all Aston Martins.
he's already walking to the. He already has his paddock pass access like granted for Aston Martin. That shit's awesome. But
uh,
no, guys. The. I mean, literally, all I can say is it's been a hell of a season,
it has.
and that's been episode 47 for us. We completed a full year, and we're only coming back stronger.
Yeah, no,
But
this was fun. We're gonna keep up the good vibes and see what happens. And I'm going
yeah,
racing
we're
this
gonna keep
weekend
rocking.
also.
Hell yeah! Shouts out
Oops.
to my man Chris. Wish him luck this weekend for racing. I hope he tops the tables. Now he's completely stock. No one can bitch at him.
Yeah, I'm stock as fuck. And
All right,
yeah, we're going for the Winter Series, 4 races, four
let's
wins,
go.
hopefully.
Let's go. But yeah, catch us on Twitter, at TLUPF1. Catch us on Instagram, TLUP.F1. Keep showing love on YouTube.
Mhm. Mhm.
Listen to us on Anchor.fm, and yeah, man, we're gonna keep pushing forward, keep staying consistent. But
Yeah.
we'll see you cats later, and y'all have a good night.